What if the power of belief is just the first rung on a much higher ladder? And what if your soul not only desires, but actively knows how to architect a reality that is deeper and far more significant? In this video, we transcend positive thinking. We will unveil the esoteric science, the ancient laws and arts your soul can employ to forge a life that truly mirrors its highest purpose. Millennia-old traditions, from Hermetic sages to alchemists of consciousness, have mapped this soul technology. It is time to rediscover it. Are you ready to move from mere spectator to a conscious co-architect of your soul's reality? We all know that yearning, don't we? That persistent ache for something more, a feeling that often lingers even when we achieve the very goals we set for ourselves. Perhaps you've attained something you deeply desired, a worldly success or a personal milestone, only to find a subtle emptiness still echoing within. This isn't failure. It's a call from a deeper part of your being. Many of us have explored the power of the mind, the impact of our thoughts, and yet sometimes that profound, lasting shift, that deep sense of alignment, still feels just out of reach. It's a common human experience, this frustration of knowing intellectually, yet still feeling adrift, perhaps even a little lost in the vast ocean of life. This is where we begin to ask a more profound question. How do we truly differentiate between the fleeting desires of the ego, those wants often born from social conditioning, a sense of lack, or the need for external validation, and the authentic, resonant aspirations of our soul? Those deep callings that are not about getting something, but about becoming something, about expressing a truth that lies at our very core. This leads us to the concept of the soul's blueprint. Imagine this not as a rigid, unchangeable destiny, but as an inherent guidance system, a unique energetic signature, a set of core potentials, profound lessons, and unique expressions that your soul seeks to unfold and realize in this lifetime. It's the understanding that your soul, your truest essence, carries an original design, a particular way it is meant to shine its light upon the world. Ancient wisdom traditions and even modern depth psychology often echo this idea. Philosophers like Plato, for instance, spoke of the soul's remembrance of higher truths, a pre-existing knowledge that guides us from within. Similarly, many Eastern traditions describe a dharma or intrinsic path, a way of living that is in perfect harmony with our deepest nature and the universal order. The journey of individuation, as Carl Jung described it, points to this emergence of an authentic self, distinct from the conditioned masks we often wear. Recognizing this blueprint is the first step in consciously crafting a reality that truly nourishes and reflects the soul. So, what do we mean by esoteric science in the context of your soul's creative power? It's not about laboratory experiments or complex equations in the way we typically think of science. Instead, imagine it as the soul's own operating system for interacting with the very fabric of reality. It is an ancient and profound body of knowledge, a collection of universal principles and energetic practices, understood and utilized by wisdom traditions across ages, all designed to help us manifest and navigate our life experience from a much higher, more attuned level of consciousness. The word esoteric itself simply means inner or hidden from the uninitiated. It's not about secrecy for secrecy's sake, but rather, it points to a wisdom that lies just beneath the surface of everyday perception, often veiled only by our relentless focus on the purely material world. This esoteric science, therefore, offers us a map, a guide for the soul to consciously create its reality, moving far beyond the often limited and conditioned maps provided by the ego mind. To make this clearer, think of your mental beliefs as the software of an application you regularly use on your computer or smartphone. It's useful, it gets certain tasks done. But the esoteric science of the soul is like deeply understanding the fundamental programming language and the core architecture of the universe's operating system itself. This deeper understanding allows you not just to use existing applications, but to begin co-creating entirely new functionalities, new experiences, new realities within your life, directly from the source code of existence. It's about moving from being a user to becoming a conscious programmer of your experiential world. A cornerstone, a fundamental compass in this journey of soul-level creation, can be found in the ancient teachings of Hermeticism. Two of its most potent principles for our exploration are the all is mind, the universe is mental, and the widely known axiom, as within, so without, as above, so below. These aren't just philosophical statements. They are keys to unlocking your soul's creative agency. The first principle, the all is mind, suggests that the fundamental nature of the universe is akin to consciousness itself. This means that the reality we experience is not a cold, indifferent machine, but a vast, living intelligence, responsive to thought, to feeling, to awareness. The second principle, as within so without, directly follows from this. It tells us that our inner world, the landscape of our deepest convictions, our sustained emotional states, our vibrant imaginal life, the very vibration of our soul, is the primary determinant of our outer reality. Your inner universe is the epicenter, the true genesis of all that you experience externally. Think of it this way. Your inner world isn't merely a passive storage space for memories and thoughts. It is the mission control center for your soul's journey. Every focused intention, every cultivated emotion, every clearly held inner vision acts as a distinct command, a set of coordinates relayed from this inner sanctum to the vessel of your manifested reality, guiding its course through the unfolding experiences of life. History and biography offer us glimpses of this principle in action. Consider the great visionaries across diverse fields, the pioneering scientists who first saw groundbreaking theories in the theater of their minds before any experiment could prove them, or the masterful composers who heard entire symphonies in their inner silence before a single note was written. Think of renowned architects who walked through the intricate details of their magnificent structures in vivid internal reality, long before the first stone was laid. Their unwavering inner certainty, their meticulously cultivated internal landscape, served as the undeniable blueprint and the energetic catalyst for the extraordinary outward manifestations that reshaped our world or enriched our culture. This isn't to oversimplify the immense effort involved in their work, but to highlight a common thread, the profound directive power of a deeply engaged and clearly envisioned inner world. And here lies the mystery, doesn't it? The ancient navigators, crossing vast uncharted oceans, placed their unwavering trust in the distant stars to guide them. What if these hermetic principles, these timeless insights into the nature of mind and reality, are the guiding stars for your soul? What if they offer you that same reliable orientation as you navigate the great journey of creating your soul's authentic reality? If our inner universe is indeed this potent mission control, this wellspring of creation, then what specific soul technology, what refined inner arts, can we employ to consciously purify, focus, and direct this extraordinary creative power? Let us now explore the ancient art and science of inner alchemy, not as the historical attempt to turn lead into gold, but as a profound metaphor and a practical methodology for the soul's creative work. True alchemy, in this esoteric sense, is the sacred practice of transmuting the base metals of our ordinary, often reactive consciousness, our fears, our unhealed traumas, our limiting beliefs inherited from the ego and past conditioning, into the gold of a purified, empowered, and divinely aligned state of being. This is the very essence from which the soul forges an authentic reality. Think of your consciousness, your inner awareness, as the soul's forge. The challenging experiences of life, the intense emotions that arise, the repetitive patterns that seem to hold you captive, these are not punishments or mistakes. They are the raw ore, the unrefined materials brought to this inner forge. The dedicated practice of inner alchemy is the controlled fire of mindful attention. the skillful hammer of discerning wisdom, and the cooling waters of self-compassion. Together, these transform that raw, often heavy ore into a resilient, luminous, and incredibly strong spiritual alloy. This refined consciousness becomes the very substance with which your soul can then mold and shape a new, more resonant reality. It's about crafting your being first, so your being can then craft your world. What does this transmutation look like in practical, everyday terms? It means learning to see fear not as an absolute barrier, a signal to retreat, but as a potent surge of energy that, when met with presence and understanding, can be channeled into focused courage and decisive action. It means viewing a perceived failure not as a final verdict on your worth, but as invaluable fiery feedback in the soul's ongoing process of learning, refinement, and mastery. It's about transforming the bitterness of resentment not by suppressing it, but by understanding its roots and alchemically converting it into the spaciousness of forgiveness or the clarity of healthy boundaries, thereby liberating vast stores of creative energy. So, I invite you to consider this. What raw ore in your life right now is your soul gently inviting you to bring into the transformative heat of your conscious awareness? What challenging situation or deeply ingrained pattern, if met with the alchemist's intention, could be transmuted into an unexpected source of strength, wisdom, and fuel for your soul's authentic creation? Now let's delve deeper into how your soul actually broadcasts its creative impulses into the universe. The intention of the soul is far more than a simple mental wish or a fleeting desire. It is, in essence, your soul's unique signature frequency, a distinct vibrational field, a resonant hum that, when clear and sustained, naturally attracts, organizes, and aligns energy to manifest its inherent purpose and deepest values. This is not just about what you want, it's about who you are at your core, expressed as a coherent energetic signal. Your soul, you see, communicates its most profound intentions to the responsive intelligence of the universe, not primarily through the words you think or speak, but through the clarity and consistency of the frequency you hold and emanate. It's the feeling tone, the unwavering conviction, the deep sense of knowing that radiates from your being when you are truly aligned with your soul's blueprint. This sustained resonance is what makes your soul a powerful magnet and a dynamic architect of its experience. It's fascinating to note, even as an analogy, how modern physics increasingly explores a universe that is fundamentally vibrational. Concepts like string theory, though complex, hint at a reality where everything at its most basic level might be patterns of energy, of vibration. While we must be careful not to oversimplify or misappropriate scientific theories, this emerging picture can serve as a conceptual bridge, helping us grasp how the vibration of the soul, its signature frequency, might indeed interact with and impress itself upon the energetic fabric of reality. If everything is in a state of vibration, then the quality of your soul's vibration becomes paramount in the co-creative dance. Imagine for a moment that your soul is like a powerful beacon, designed to emit a very specific, beautiful, and unique light or frequency, its own essential music. The esoteric science we are exploring isn't about trying to forcefully override other stations or desperately trying to get every radio in the world to pick up your signal. Rather, it's about the inner work of purifying your own transmitter, clarifying your unique wavelength, and amplifying the authentic signal of your soul's truth with unwavering consistency. When you do this, the universe, in its own mysterious and intelligent way, can clearly hear and tune into your soul's song, responding by orchestrating circumstances and opportunities that resonate with that specific melody. If the signature frequency of your soul is indeed so crucial in this creative process, what then is the interface, the conscious mechanism, that allows us to fine-tune this inner broadcast and project the authentic visions and aspirations of the soul into the world around us with greater clarity and power? Now let us gather the threads we've been exploring. We have the Hermetic Mission Control Center, where our inner world shapes the outer. We have the soul's forge of alchemy, transmuting our consciousness into its purest, most potent form. And we have the signature frequency of the soul, broadcasting its authentic intention to the universe. How do these powerful elements converge into a cohesive act of creation? This brings us to the perspective of the infinite observer, the soul in its state of full untrammeled awareness. From this vantage point, the soul is not merely a passive witness to life, nor a victim of circumstance. It is the master director standing before a vast quantum stage, a field of infinite potential, where every possibility, every timeline, every conceivable reality exists as a latent vibrational pattern. The primary tool, the director's wand, if you will, that the soul employs on this quantum stage is active imagination. This is not the idle daydreaming or passive fantasizing of the ego mind, inspired by pioneers of consciousness like Carl Jung, but made accessible for our purpose. Active imagination is a focused, intentional, and deeply felt engagement with the inner world of symbols, archetypes, potent imagery, and embodied feeling states. It is the conscious process by which the soul chooses, from all the potential scripts available, the narrative it wishes to bring forth and enceinte as its lived reality. It is about consciously and courageously stepping into your soul's director chair. Consider this. If reality, at its deepest level, is this quantum stage, a field shimmering with infinite potential scripts, then active imagination is your soul's way of selecting a script, casting the roles, designing the sets, and infusing the entire production with its unique vision and emotional depth. Your soul, in this understanding, doesn't just passively read a pre-written script handed down by past conditioning or the collective ego. It actively rewrites, reimagines, and directs the scenes of its life, ensuring that each act, each moment, is imbued with its authentic purpose, its deepest values, its passionate engagement. True soul-level mastery in crafting reality is not about trying to meticulously control every external detail with the force of mental will. It is about expertly directing the play from the inner stage of your vividly felt and consciously chosen imagination. It is about embodying the desired state so fully, so completely within, that you trust the cast and crew of the universe, the synchronicities and opportunities, to respond naturally and inevitably to the clarity, coherence, and conviction of your soul's inner direction. So, to go beyond belief is to fully embrace and step into your role as the soul's director. It is to consciously wield the sacred art of active imagination, transforming the unmanifest quantum potential into the beautifully lived, deeply meaningful masterpiece of your soul's unique reality. Now, how do we begin to practically apply this profound understanding? How do we move from comprehending the concept of being the soul's director to actually stepping into that role? The esoteric science of the soul always leads to practice, to lived experience. So, let's explore a simple yet potent way to start crafting your first inner scene right now. I call this the soul-felt scene in 5 minutes. First, find a brief moment of quiet, a space where you can be undisturbed, even if it's just for these few minutes. Gently close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Now, instead of trying to figure out all the complexities of a big life change, I want you to choose one specific area of your life where you genuinely yearn for a more authentic, a more soul-aligned expression. This could be your work, a key relationship, your creative expression, or your sense of well-being. Once you have this area in mind, rather than focusing on a very specific external outcome, a what, I invite you to turn inward and ask your soul this question. Beloved soul, in this chosen area of my life, what feeling state or what essential quality do you most deeply desire for me to embody and express right now? Perhaps the answer comes as a sense of calm courage, or vibrant creative joy, or profound connection, or unwavering inner peace. Trust the first gentle impression that arises. Now, with this quality or feeling state in mind, step into your director's chair. Begin to see, and more importantly, feel a brief scene in your mind's eye. In this scene, you are fully, completely, and effortlessly embodying this specific quality. Don't worry about the hows, how you got there, what specific actions led to it. Just immerse yourself in the direct experience of being this quality within that inner scene. What does it feel like in your body? What is your posture? What is the expression on your face? Allow the sensory details of the scene to become vivid. Remain in this fully felt, visualized scene, embodying this soul quality for just 2 or 3 minutes. Let the vibration of it permeate your entire being. Then, gently bring your awareness back to your surroundings. Offer a moment of gratitude to your soul for its clear guidance, and trust that this inner scene setting, this conscious rehearsal, has sent a clear signal, a potent energetic blueprint, out into the quantum field. You have, in essence, just scripted and directed your first scene from the soul's perspective. Remember, the profound art of esoteric science, the crafting of your soul's reality, often begins with these seemingly small, yet deeply intentional, inner rehearsals. These practices meticulously tune your energy and prime your consciousness for the new possibilities you are calling forth. The immediate benefit is often a subtle but palpable sense of increased agency, clarity, and a deeper alignment with your own authentic path. You are not, and never have been, merely an actor condemned to a script written by past beliefs, societal conditioning, or the whims of fate. This journey beyond belief has revealed a more profound truth. Your soul is the original author, the insightful director, and indeed, the courageous protagonist of its own magnificent and unfolding saga. It comes fully equipped with the timeless principles of esoteric science, the sacred arts of consciousness, to create a life story that is deeply meaningful, uniquely expressive, and rich with purpose. As the poet Mary Oliver so beautifully and pointedly asked, "Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" This isn't a question to be answered with a list of fleeting ambitions, but an invitation from the soul itself to live fully, authentically, and creatively. Your life, seen from this perspective, is the ongoing masterpiece of your soul. Each day offers a fresh page, a new scene, an opportunity to direct your energy, your imagination, and your actions in alignment with your deepest truth. So I invite you to consider this as we draw this exploration to a close. If your life is indeed the grand, evolving masterpiece of your soul, what inspiring scene, what authentic expression will you choose to direct and bring to life starting today? If this journey into the creative science of your soul has resonated with you, if it has sparked a flicker of recognition or a call to deeper exploration within your own being, please show your support with a like. Subscribe to Mystic Sages to continue these journeys into the profound mysteries of consciousness and spiritual growth. And if you feel others might benefit from this perspective, please share this video so that more souls may awaken to their innate power as divine directors of their own reality. And in the comments below, we would be honored to hear from you. What is the very first scene, that initial quality or experience, that your soul is now gently, or perhaps passionately, calling you to bring into focus and cultivate in the beautiful, unfolding drama of your life?